And then the parent is like, oh my God, you in level 3. You go take the SAT. You know, I hadn't seen those words before. I didn't know they got words like this in the dictionary. And that's part of the problem. However, if the standards are high for those kids, it will be different. You know that what that reminds me? It reminds me of when I went to school on a track and field scholarship. There were 7 half-milers that came in at the same time. 7. Of course, I was number 7. I was the 7th best. As a matter of fact, there was 2 kids from Jamaica. We went to the Carifta Games in 1978. They beat me in the 800 meters. They ran like 152. I ran like 156. 4 seconds behind them. I won a bronze medal, which was good. I won a bronze medal for Trinidad and Tobago. And we all came into Seton Hall in September 1978. And now we are all in the same team. We are training together. Everything is different now. It's all about work ethic now. You know, it's a little cold. In Jamaica, it's warm. It's a little cold. I've been acclimatized a little more. And those 6 individuals never defeated me at Seton Hall University. Never. I became the number 1 half-miler from number 7. And that's the same thing that can happen to so many of those other kids that you're putting in these levels. If you get rid of levels, we never had no levels in Trinidad and Tobago. And we had, you come from 1, if there was 30 kids in the class, they had a kid that came first and a kid that came last. Right? And that kid that came last, you know, he don't want to come last in the next test, man. You come last one time in tests, that's it. Somebody is going to come last. And that's what drove people to do better. Because you didn't want to be last.
Yeah.
It sounds easy, right?
Yeah, and again, I repeat, it's one of those things. I don't. It's not that I don't waste my time, but I mean, you're going to need to have a Tylenol in hand if you're really going to try and argue this topic. It's not something that is just going to magically pop up and we're going to have to answer it. People, why don't we try a social experiment and have there be no levels and have those kids, the same kids that are in level 2, try and be in level 4 for a semester and see what happens.
But why don't they try it?
I don't know. Has anyone proposed it?
Of course, they don't want it. They don't want that. I mean, they did some de-leveling at the middle school. They got rid of levels at certain grades. And it's working. For all that I know, it's working. Was there any levels in boarding school? There might have been AP classes.
There were AP classes.
Yeah, there were AP classes and honors classes.
I don't think there was levels.
There wasn't levels. There wasn't levels. It wouldn't be levels when you have 9 kids in a class.
There were more than 9. There were more than 9 kids, but there were like 9 to 12.
There were 9 kids in one of your classes. I remember that.
They weren't really. They weren't.
So there were no levels, but what it is that the teachers expected you to come to school prepared to get the work done.
Sure.
And I think what happens in these public schools is that sometimes the teacher said, "Oh, is he in level 2? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it." Yeah, and that's part of the problem. It's not just the school alone is not to blame for what's happening. I'm not going to blame the school and say, oh, the school is doing this and the school is doing that. I think the blame goes to the parents, the kids, as well as the school system. And we can talk about this all day, man, all day long. But let me digress a minute. Did you hear about this NAACP leader in Washington who had to resign because they said she was white?
Yes, I did hear about that.
So, you think it matters if you're white or you're black to be a president of the NAACP?
Man, you're choosing all the most difficult topics to talk about, huh? I don't know. There were people talking about comparing her to Caitlyn Jenner, who had the gender change, and how I don't know, like. Yeah.
So Dave Chappelle, I don't know if there's no cursing in this one.
Probably. So basically, I guess people's issue wasn't that she was white. It was that she pretended to be black to gain a higher position within the black community.
So she was misleading people to benefit herself.
Essentially. I'm not sure how many presidents of the NAACP are white.
I don't know. I don't think.
I would only imagine that there aren't very many.
I would think that there's a possibility she might have been the only one.
I think that's very fair. I think it's a very fair assumption.
But let's listen to what she had to say.
I don't understand the question.
Rachel Dolezal, the local leader of a branch of the NAACP civil rights group in Washington State, announced her resignation on Monday following controversy over her racial identity. She said, "It is with complete allegiance to the cause of racial and social justice and the NAACP that I step aside from the presidency and pass the baton to my vice president, Naima Quarles-Burnley." Dolezal, 37, came under intense scrutiny last week after questions emerged about her racial background. In a Spokane City application, she identified herself as white, African American, and Native American, authorities said.
I don't see. Is part of the requirement to be the president black? I guess it is, right?
Yeah, probably. To be fair, I think.
Maybe that's part of the requirement. So let's listen to what is Dave Chappelle take on this. Let me see if we can get this one on.
Chappelle weighed in on the Rachel Dolezal scandal Sunday when the comedian delivered the commencement address at his D.C. alma mater, the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. "The world's become ridiculous," Chappelle said. "There's a white lady posing as a black lady. There's not one thing that woman accomplished that she couldn't have done as a white woman. There's no reason. She just needed the braids. I don't know what she was doing." He went on to say, "The thing that the media's got to be real careful about, that they're kind of overlooking, is the emotional context of what she means," Chappelle said. "There's something that's very nuanced where she's highlighting the difference between personal feeling and what's construct as far as racism is concerned. I don't know what her agenda is, but there's an emotional context for black people when they see her and white people when they see her. There's a lot of feelings that are going to come out behind what's happening with this lady. And she's just a person, no matter how we feel about her."
Well, at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how to. The only thing I would think about it is that it appears that she lied that she's African American in order to get the position.
Yeah.
So I think that lying is not a good way to get the position.
Yeah, to me it's just not that important, if I'm being honest. In looking at things and the importance of things. I mean, it's of no relevance to anything, I think.
Well, it's of some relevance that a person have deceived an organization as the NAACP that, didn't do a background check of her, and she was able to deceive them to become president of a black organization. So that means to say that, it's easy.
Spokane, Washington.
That says it all, right? Well, hey, what can I tell you? You're right. There's nothing else I can say about that. You know, it's just, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. People
Spokane, Washington.
People have been ranting and raving about it, but
Let me ask you the next question. What do you think about stores like 7-Eleven that's coming into Maplewood? Do you have any opinion on those things? People think that when stores like 7-Eleven come in and they're 24 hours, they open 24 hours a day, and it brings in unsavory people into the community. Do you think that's true?
They think it brings in unsavory people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't say I would disagree with that. It's open 24 hours. I mean, if you think about it, if you think about the math and that, just giving people just a couple more extra hours for people to linger around, or
Why can't we people who live in South Orange and Maplewood?
I mean, that's perfectly could be. But I mean, if it's open 24 hours, I mean, there also could be people who don't live in Maplewood or South Orange. But I mean, I don't know. I've lived around 7-Elevens for some time, and I've never really had issues. So,
Well, that's in Philadelphia. That's different.
it's a city.
That's urban city.
Yeah, sure.
It's different. This is the suburbs. Totally different.
Yeah,
A 7-Eleven could come and pop up over there without any problem.
definitely. Yeah.
But in these kind of communities, you hear about a 7-Eleven, you're going to hear people, going before the township committee and telling them, we don't want no 7-Eleven in here. I mean, we have a Walgreens, we have a CVS that's coming. Yeah, there's a lot of buildings going on here.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest argument you're probably going to have if people want to keep it a town, keep that home feeling about it.
Yes,
and
yes.
not make it so commercial.
That's absolutely correct.
I can't disagree with that necessarily. I mean, I've been living here for almost all my life. It's got a town feeling to it. I mean, over time it's become more commercial, but I mean, that's...
And very high taxes too.
It's always had high taxes. It's been high taxes for some time.
It's even higher now. And every year it keeps getting higher and higher. That's one of the things that's difficult for a lot of people living in Maplewood and South Orange is that the taxes never seem to go down. They only seem to get higher and higher every year. But anyway, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna close the segment with another. I know you gotta run. Another speech by Les Brown, 11 Keys to Motivation. So you got any closing comments?
No, I don't really have much of anything to say.
But it was nice to share. It was nice for you to share your experience though about the difference between Columbia High School and boarding school. And I always say that if we could get more black male kids to boarding school, it would have a significant impact on their lives. In that some kids that go to Columbia High School and graduate and then go into college have great difficulties. But when you go to boarding school or you go to Catholic school, it seems that they better prepare you for when you go to college to succeed.
Yeah, no, I agree. You definitely have a good or a better chance to succeed. I just think it's hard in general. I think maneuvering the transition of high school to college is just a hard thing for any kid. I always say that it's so hard for a kid to decide what the rest of their life is going to be from 12th grade to their first year of college, when just their first year of college, now they have to decide what they want to do with the rest of their life, but just the year before they had to raise their hand to go to the bathroom. So it's hard. It's hard for any kid. But it's definitely helpful. It was helpful being in that environment for me, but could have been harmful for other kids. So it's really a case-by-case situation.
Well, I think when you're looking at percentages, I think a great number of kids